Hello, Eddie Stevens here, Eddie Stevens Training with another LPR video. Kind of a weird background. I hope the picture's okay, I hope the sound quality's okay. I'm in a echoey room in my house for reasons that are really not important. I can't be bothered to explain. What I had planned on doing, if you've been following this video series on how to cure LPR, how to heal from LPR, was I was trying to come up with little hacks that can help you. I did one about chewing gum. That was a good little hack. And I was going to do another one, and I realized there really aren't any others. Like everything else that can help you that you might consider a hack, I've mentioned in all the videos. At some point, maybe I'll think of something else, you know, but I've talked about things like working out and stuff like that, how they can, I don't know if that's really considered a hack. They're sort of like essential ways of healing from LPR. But anyway, what I do want to do today is respond to a question that I was asked, because I've been having a lot of people messaging me privately, which is fine, asking me for advice, and I usually just answer them, but then I thought it might be better instead of doing that. A lot of the times the questions are very similar, so rather than respond to everyone individually, maybe I should just respond through a video. So that's what I'm going to do now. It's just going to be a video response to a question that somebody tweeted to me. So this question is from John. I don't know, I hope I'm going to pronounce the name right. John Poppy? Poppy sounds nice, but maybe you don't want to sound nice. I don't know. John Poppy sounds sort of Italian, but he's got a Jamaican flag, so I don't know. But John, sorry. First of all, sorry it's taken me so long to respond to this. I've had a crazy few days, but here's John's question. It's very interesting, by the way, this question. Not so much the question, although that is interesting, but the way that he asks it. Hi Eddie, sorry to disturb you. I'm currently suffering from suspected LPR, even though I am yet to be diagnosed. It's been 3 months and all started after a life-changing experience of me leaving a 9-year relationship and moving out. Your videos not only made me laugh in this fucked up stage in my life, but they also made me think all this diet searching and whatnot is pointless. You clearly state a healthy diet should be enough, and I am not overweight, however used to eat trashy foods. However, now I am currently eating salads and salmon and lean meat for dinner with not much to eat during the day, as I don't want to repeat meals. I have this underlying fear I'll never be the same again, despite being otherwise healthy. I know you ain't a therapist, I'm sorry, but I just wanted to know, other than the mind over matter perspective, did anything else help you? And for how long did you suffer severely, and did you notice gradual recovery, or was it quite sudden? Yet again, I'm sorry for disturbing you, and if I'm fucking with your Friday vibe, my bad. Well, you weren't fucking with my Friday vibe. I don't have Friday vibes. I don't even know what day it is now. I just get on with it and suffer just like you. But I don't suffer just like you because I don't have LPR. So let me go. Let me address each bit. Now, first of all, listening to this question, did anybody notice that it's very nicely worded, very good question, very polite, to the point of being overly apologetic, which, by the way, I do all the time. So I do a podcast, a rugby podcast, a rugby rant to banter. If any of you for some reason are interested in rugby, that's out there. And I recently had a special guest that I thought might be too good for my podcast, but I messaged him anyway, and it was basically just, would you like to do my podcast? No, you probably don't. I'm so sorry. I will go and kill myself. Like, it was just very apologetic for no reason, because you're just asking a question. Like, I mean, and again, all of us that have suffered with LPR, we have certain things in common. Generally, we all tend to be way too hard on ourselves. We all tend to stress about the slightest little thing. We suffer from chronic stress, chronic anxiety, and let me know if you also do this, if you've noticed this in yourself, that you apologize a lot, okay? And it's one of those things where, like, I mean, and John, reading your question, it wasn't like, oh, why is he apologizing so much? How pathetic, or anything like that. It just comes across as very nice. There's nothing wrong with it, but most people don't do that. And like I said, I do it. So I think it is interesting that we all have this kind of apologetic, sorry, I may not deserve to be bothering you with anything. Anyway, so let's see. Sorry to disturb you. I'm currently suffering from suspected LPR, even though I'm yet to be diagnosed. Yeah, you don't need to be diagnosed because I mean, I went to multiple doctors and none of them even knew what LPR was. Okay, so you're not really, the chances of you actually being diagnosed with LPR are almost zero. It's been 3 months, not that long, which is good. I'm glad that you're watching these videos now and you might save yourself a lot of stress and misery over the years. It's been 3 months and all started after a life-changing experience for me, leaving a 9-year relationship and moving out. So this is very interesting. I don't think I ever mentioned this, but when my LPR first started, if you may remember me saying, it started with this chronic cough and this nasty wheezing cough. Now, it just so happened that this started when my father had a stroke, went into a coma, and then died. And this is another thing that a lot of, not all LPR sufferers, I know that, but a lot of LPR sufferers have a traumatic event that sets them off and sends them down this nasty road of misery and suffering. And by the way, I am right now in the middle of a divorce from a 15-year relationship with my wife. And it did not end well. And don't want to point fingers, but she's an absolute lying you-know-what. So it has been very traumatic for me. And guess what? I started having a few symptoms recently that I haven't had in years. And luckily I know exactly how to handle it and it was fine, but that's another thing we all have in common, so that's interesting. That a lot of us have in common. So sorry to hear about your relationship ending, John. Hopefully you're going to move on to bigger and better ladies. Maybe not bigger, depends what you like. Your videos not only made me laugh in this fucked up stage in my life. Has it been? Do I ever say anything funny? I am actually a stand-up comedian. I do comedy, but I feel like I've tried to I try not to be too silly during these podcasts because it's too serious of an issue. But maybe I'm so funny I can't help it. They also made me think all this diet searching and whatnot is pointless. Okay, yeah, and I kind of said LPR has virtually nothing to do with your diet. But another thing we all have in common is we tend to have had a shitty diet for a really long time. People are, sorry if you can hear my dogs running around. I have to have them inside with me for reasons, again, I can't be bothered to explain. Anyway, a lot of people, most people will say that they've had a shitty diet their whole life. Lots of, sugar and fried food and crap. They're just now starting to, it's one of the biggest fields now in sort of health is the importance of a healthy gut microbiome. That's a subject for another video probably, but this is the tricky thing though. I want you to be aware of things like this, okay, that your diet can have a role, but do not, this is what you do, try and eat healthy, but not to the point that you're unhappy. If you want a fucking ice cream, excuse my language, or you want some chocolate at some point, just eat it. You'll be okay. It's one of those things where one of the strategies that I like to use for, not necessarily for LPR, but just health in general, is fasting. I did like a 3-day fast a few months back that I thought was really good for me, but fasting is really, really good for you, but it is also quite stressful. And if you're dealing with LPR and you're already in a lot of stress, it's not necessarily the best thing for you to do. And the same with diet. Try and get yourself healthy, but not to the point where if you're used to eating junk all the time, you may as well be, a heroin addict. You're addicted to the sugar and, I was going to say fat. I don't know if you can get addicted to fat, but you know what I mean. You got to be careful. You don't want to just go cold turkey because you can make yourself worse. Anyway, he says, however, so you clearly state a healthy diet should be enough, and I am not overweight, however, used to eat trashy foods. However, now I am currently eating salads and salmon and lean meat for dinner with not much to eat during the day as I don't want to repeat meals. Perfect. I have this underlying fear I'll never be the same again despite being otherwise healthy. Yes, this is the problem. This is why I urge you to never go on LPR message boards and chats, whatever the hell you call them. Like, don't get in any discussions with groups of people about LPR because all you're going to do is have the idea that you can't heal reinforced. You can. Okay, you just can't listen to these negative people. And if you're one of the negative people, stop it and get your head out of that space. I know you ain't a therapist. No, I ain't. I'm sorry, but I just wanted to know, other than the mind over matter perspective, did anything else help you? Well, John, I mean, lots of things, yeah. So ultimately, it's a shift in mindset. But, you know, as I've said in all the other videos, there's a bunch of other stuff that really helped me. For me personally, focusing on working out more was a massive, had massive benefits for me. Because it's like, when you're suffering from LPR, you're completely focused on your symptoms, whatever they are, and the physical aspect. And it doesn't matter whether it's a genuine like health problem you have, or it's all psychosomatic, all in your head. When you feel that physical sensation somewhere, one of the best ways you can feel better is by stimulating another physical sensation somewhere, however you want to do it. Did that sound like I was encouraging you to look at pornography? I don't know. Don't do that. Do it. I don't care. But my point is, I found that by spending more time in the gym, working out way more, exhausting my body, I was unable to feel the tension, because my big issue is I have this tension in my diaphragm all the time. I was unable to feel that. And that helped me a lot. But like I said, these are all in these bloody tons of videos that I've done. So, I mean, yeah, it's mostly a shift. Once you figure it out with your head, you'll be all right. But I think it's probably a good idea to get as healthy as you can. For me, working out helps. Doesn't have to be lifting weights. That's what I do. But you could, you know, go swimming, go running. I also run. That really helps. Basketball, whatever you want to do. Just something that gets your body, just creates physical sensations that are different to what you're experiencing. And if your problem is like mad reflux and you've just got tons of acid reflux all the time, which by the way, I had that for a little bit. And again, that is tied to stress. So you've got to try to lower your stress. But as I've said, it's you know, you get stuck in this vicious cycle, don't you? It's like you're stressed about the reflux, so you create more reflux, and then that reflux creates more stress, blah, blah, blah. If you're in that situation, take some antacids and try to chill out. I don't know. Like I said, all of this is really covered in earlier videos. There's some essential reading. What's it called? I'll put a link to the book I always recommend. You Are the Placebo? Dr. Joe Dispenza, I think that's right. I haven't thought about it in a while, but that helped me a lot. And for how long did you suffer severely, and did you notice gradual recovery, or was it quite sudden? Well, for me, so I suffered for probably 2 to 3 years. It's hard to know exactly. And for me, and I think for a lot of LPR sufferers, the symptoms go up and down, up and down. You just have this seesawing effect where you're like I would constantly be like, whoa, I feel so much better today. And I'd get super excited. And then within an hour, I'd start feeling symptoms again. And then I'd get really depressed. And actually, it got to the point where it was like 2 or 3 days where I feel good. And just when I don't think this is coincidence. The second I started thinking I was better is when I'd start to feel bad again every time. So part of my recovery was refusing to acknowledge, and I think I've mentioned this before, it's not just refusing to acknowledge the LPR symptoms when you're having them, it's refusing to acknowledge when you're not having them. You have to pretend that you don't even notice. Okay, you have to think like LPR is this demon that lives in you. You have to ignore it, okay, and don't piss it off. Like if you start celebrating, it's going to be like a really bitch, and it steps up its attack on you. So you just ignore everything. Just focus on other stuff all the time. It's very important. So in terms of the recovery, it was, even though I suffered for 3 years, 2 or 3 years, it was quite a sudden radical recovery, because it was the day that I decided, fuck it, I am not going to acknowledge this anymore. Like, that's the thing, is you spend some time just like worrying that you're dying, you know, what is this doing to my health? And at some point I was like, well, I'm not going to die today, and stressing about it isn't helping. I may as well just get on with my life. And that changed everything, you know? And it's not, and you might be thinking, well, maybe it did for you, but maybe it won't for me. Like, understand this, my symptoms weren't mild. It was ruining my life. But yeah, I just reached a point where I managed to adopt the right mindset. But then you got to think, like I said, there was a gradual learning curve where I figured out working out was helping me. But then over time, I was like, basically, when I'm working out, I'm not thinking about the LPR. When I'm doing, you know, whatever things distract me, that seems to help. So it was sort of gradual and then sudden, the recovery. Yet again, I'm sorry for disturbing you. You better be. And if I'm fucking with your Friday vibe, my bad. As I say, don't know what day it is. It might be Friday now. I don't know. But I have to keep these videos kind of short because I have a GoPro camera, which for some reason, when I record, breaks the files up into these tiny little ones, and I have to put them all together. It's a big pain in my ass. So I've probably already gone for too long. It's 15 minutes, yeah. I hope that I sort of answered all your questions, John. Feel free to message me again on Twitter. And by the way, what is my Twitter handle? At Eddie Stevens, like you see it in Eddie Stevens Training, but with an extra S at the end. So it's at Eddie Stevens S on Twitter. You can also follow me on Instagram at Eddie Boy Stevens. And you can message me on either of those and I'll respond. Yep, that's it. Feel free to, if you're watching this, feel free to ask me questions that I will now try to respond to in this video. And John, I can respond if I didn't clear anything up or I didn't answer at all. I refuse to apologize. But just let me know and I'll try and cover it in the next video. So, all right, have a good one. Bye.